USC basketball players recall what it's like to see multiple teammates go through cardiac arrest. Alex Grinch keeps saying the Trojans' defense is trending in the right direction, and by that direction, I would argue they're pointing to the Holiday Bowl. And there is an argument to be made that Brandon Staley's fourth down gamble for the Chargers was the right call. Good morning. I'm James. This is your daily dose of sports and snark for the greatest sports city in the world, Los Angeles. This is the faithful Angelenos morning report. So, it is September 27th, 2023. Wonderful day. I have a brand new Galaxy kit. I look great. Thank you for asking. If you like being in the know about LA sports, feel free to clickety-clack the like button, clickety-clack the subscribe button. There's a notification bell. Hit that. It'll let you know when we drop new content. Sharing is caring. Let people know we exist. And comment. It's always interesting when you're talking LA sports. Be the life of the party. No LA sports. Now, before we go through the day's news and notes, we'll look at the scoreboard. The Dodgers played a doubleheader yesterday. In the opener, Ryan Pepio struck out 9, but the Dodgers wound up losing to Colorado 4-1. Then the bats woke up. So be it. Freddie Freeman went 2 for 4 with 2 runs, 2 RBI, and a home run. Max Muncy went 3 for 4 with 2 runs and an RBI. And the Dodgers beat down Colorado for kicks, 11-2. The Dodgers are playing Colorado today at 5:40 as well. Emmett Sheehan is 3-1 with a 5.13 ERA. Noah Davis is 0-3 with an 8.77 ERA. Now, these games actually matter to an extent. There are 5 games left in the Major League Baseball regular season. 2 in Colorado, 3 in San Francisco. The Dodgers still have a chance to get to 100 regular season wins this year. Despite all that naysaying, they can still get 100 wins. They have to win 3 of the 5 in order to do it. Meanwhile, Tigres is at LAFC in the Campeones Cup at 8 p.m. The black and gold are in the running for a trophy, which is great for them. But they haven't scored in their last 2 MLS matches, and now they're facing arguably the best team in Mexico. Not so great. It is what it is. USC basketball players spoke to the LA Times yesterday about what it was like to see Bronny James collapse during practice in July. And what was the common theme from these guys who were talking to the press? Disbelief. Holy bleep, we got to go through this again. Recall, Vincent Iwuchukwu collapsed with cardiac arrest in the summer of 2022. Boogie Ellis, when he saw it, he was thinking, quote, "This can't be happening again," unquote. Meanwhile, you got DJ Rodman, who is a transfer from Washington State. He had seen 2 of his teammates up with the Cougars collapse from cardiac arrest. He admitted he, quote, "couldn't handle it. I had to run out because I couldn't handle another one," unquote. It sounds fortunate, but also creepy that the athletic trainers knew exactly what to do because they've had practice doing it. They knew immediately to go get the automatic electronic defibrillator, the AED. You see them hanging up in stores and malls and airports, all kinds of places. And also they had the experience to know to call professional help. Now, Rodman also said that after 15 minutes from the cardiac event, that Bronny James was actually sitting up and telling jokes. Quote, "It was like it never happened. He's just a very positive guy. Every time I see him, he's got a huge smile," unquote. Now, I like this part of the story. I do, because it tells us something about LeBron James's family. You may disagree with him politically. Cool. You may disagree with him jumping from team to team. Cool. I like the fact that he seems like a good father who raised a well-adjusted son. Seems that way to me anyway. So yeah, I like that. Aside from the fact, of course, that Bronny James is still alive. The other thing I would say, though, the thing about it that I would like to discourage, it's been since learned that Bronny James has a congenital heart defect. There have been a number of players who have had cardiac events in the last few years. There are a lot of people out there who assume that this goes back to the COVID vaccine. Now, I have no idea. I really don't. But in the case of Bronny James, it doesn't seem to be that way at all. So I get the political angle. It's unfortunate, but I don't think it applies here. Meanwhile, across the campus, football defensive coordinator Alex Grinch keeps spinning that he can solve the chronic problems with the Trojans defense. So much spinning, so much twirling. It's almost like if USC also had a rhythmic gymnastics team, Alex Grinch could be somebody who would be a star on that team with the little band twirling around. So much spinning. I'm amazed he doesn't have vertigo, the guy is spinning so much. It's like Groundhog Day. Every Tuesday they have the press conference. Alex Grinch pokes his head out of the hole that he dug behind the practice facility, and if he can see his shadow, he calls 6 more seasons of the Trojans defense. That is Alex Grinch to me, because we've heard this before, again and again and again. It's the same answer. Quote, percentage-wise, again, I would say that the needle is pointing in a positive direction, but that it doesn't get done in those moments, unquote. This is what he told the Associated Press. To which I say it's more than a moment. The defense allowed 125 yards alone in the fourth quarter. If you had extrapolated that over an entire game, that means the Trojans defense could have allowed 500 yards to a team that was playing its third string quarterback and missing 4 offensive linemen. 500 yards potentially, if that were the case. Now, if you're talking about a moment, you could also argue how many missed tackle moments are there with the Trojans. Eric Gentry, Max Williams, both missed tackles on a 53-yard touchdown screen pass to Cameron Scatabo. A screen pass. And by the way, you know what one of the problems that when you call blitzes as often as Alex Grinch does? You get burned on, wait for it, the screen pass. You are vulnerable to the screen pass when you call blitz on damn near every play, Coach Grinch. Quote, the nice thing is the video shows all that stuff, Grinch said. The problem is you don't get redos. So the big thing is those are very specific plays, unquote. Well, if the video shows you all that stuff, maybe it should show you not to call a blitz on specific screen pass plays. Right? And what about this whole stuff about redos, about how you don't get redos? Alex Grinch's career is based on redos. His entire career is one big redo. He shouldn't have gotten redos after all that crap at Oklahoma, but he did year after year. He shouldn't have gotten a redo after that garbage performance against Tulane in the Cotton Bowl. And yet here we are. Same quotes from Captain Groundhog. The USC football team, I swear, they're throwing so much greatness away. They put it all on the shoulders of Caleb Williams and just pray that he's going to bail them out week after week because of Alex Grinch. Before I start ranting on the Trojans, let's turn the page. It is up to you to decide if you want to accept this, but there is a pro-Brandon Staley going for it on 4th down argument to be made if you're a Chargers fan. Now, it's not the play call itself against the Vikings. That was garbage. We agree on that. But for the Chargers going for it on 4th and 1 from the Bolts' own 25 late in the fourth quarter, there is an argument to be made. The Chargers secondary was getting shredded in the second half. They had given up completions of 21, 36, 52, and 16 yards. That's a lot of big explosive plays. So then you look at the Chargers offense converting 66% of the time on 3rd and 1 and 4th and 1. Had Staley punted, say it's a 45-yard punt with a fair catch, then it becomes Minnesota ball at the Vikings 30. But what if it's a shorter kick? What if there's a decent return? The Vikings get the ball in really good field position with more than a minute and a half to go. So Staley is looking at it as in, I've got a 2/3 chance of ending the game by going for it on 4th and 1, or I gotta hope my special teams and my defense comes through. Now, it's a tough call if you think about it in those terms. And I could definitely understand if you come back and say, James, you're full of more crap than an obese guy's bedpan. I totally get that. I really do. But I'm not just going to sit there and say Brandon Staley didn't have an argument to make, because he did have an argument. He may not have enlightened us on his thought process. I had to do it for you, but I would assume that would be it. The Bolts have not really replaced Mike Williams with Simi Fehoko, who has played wide receiver for Dallas and Pittsburgh. Part of the reason, I'm assuming, is because playing with Dallas, that means familiarity with Kellen Moore's playbook. Noted NHL reporter Pierre LeBrun is reporting that the Kings, quote, should get a contract extension done with Coach Todd McClellan. Other than that, we're not really hearing a lot of news about those sort of things. NHL season begins in about 2 weeks. There have been many reasons. I've been talking a bit of Clippers basketball lately, and there have been many reasons that I have been against the idea of James Harden in a blockbuster trade to LA. And one of the reasons is I'm still very much pro Russell Westbrook. Why? I know he stunk with the Lakers. That's fair. But Russell Westbrook has recorded double-digit assists in a regular season game 9 times since he joined the Clippers, which was not that long ago. It was at the trade deadline, after the trade deadline, actually. He only played 24 games for the Clippers, recorded double-digit assists 9 times. That was the most by any Clipper in a season since Chris Paul was on the team. Chris Paul. Westbrook only played in 24 games. He's actually making plays. He is distributing. And yes, if you look back on the Clippers, how long has this search for a point guard been? John Wall couldn't do it. Reggie Jackson couldn't do it. They've tried Terrence Mann at the point, but he's more of a finisher than he is a distributor. Westbrook is also turning the ball over a lot less often than he did with the Lakers. In his first year with the Lakers, it was the ratio was 1.9 assists to turnovers. With the Clippers, it's 2.3. So he's less likely to turn the ball over. Granted, it's not that huge of a percentage jump, but it is a jump. Now, I would agree with you if you say, what if Bones Highland actually matures and actually plays like a professional athlete for once in his career? Fair question to say. But for now, you can count on Russell Westbrook facilitating and distributing. Angel City FC have extended forward Sydney Leroux through 2024. She scored 3 times in 19 games with Angel City. And the Sparks' Chine Ogumake was named to President Biden's Council on African Diplomacy. Now, I realize this doesn't have a lot to do with sports, but hey, she's got bona fides. Ogumake has worked on behalf of African women since 2014. This may be her calling, even way more so than basketball ever could be. You might remember back then, a bunch of young African girls were kidnapped by Islamic militants, Boko Haram. A lot of people were hashtagging "Bring Back Our Girls," like that was going to make a difference. Ogumake is actually trying to make a difference. So on that level, respect, of course. But you let me know what you think in the comments thread. Talk to me, for example, about Bronny James trying to come back and play for USC basketball and how it impacts his teammates. Tell me what you think of Alex Grinch, although I can pretty much predict what many of you think of Alex Grinch. And if you enjoyed the content, don't forget to subscribe to Faithful Angelenos. We talk LA sports every single day here. Thank you for watching. I'm James. We'll be back tomorrow. Faithful Angelenos is a Kian Corte El Queso production. Take care.